All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the afternoon, early evening, DJ Just Jay with Just Dimes ENT. I want to talk about a story that happened here recently, and I want to say thank you to the people that emailed me the story. I can't thank everybody because it was about 6 people. Y'all know who sent it. I want to thank y'all. And for the people that have already hit the thumbs up, I want to say thank you to you guys. Also, you guys know it's important to make sure to share the show and let other people know that we're live so that way they can catch this story from the very beginning, okay? Here's what happened. And I don't want anybody to get upset. All I'm going to do is just literally just read what the police and what the news and what the courts have already put out. So there's no need to flaggy this video, right? All we're doing is telling a story. And what we're going to do is tell you guys what happened to these little girls. And you guys know we advocate for children first, so I don't want to see anything happen to kids. There was a man that was accused, but from what we've heard, I think he actually admitted to doing this. But for now, we're going to say he was accused of fatally bludgeoning a woman and 2 children with a hammer last week. And he's facing additional counts of murder after a 3rd child was wounded and in the attack and was taken off life support. And I think there was actually a 4th victim, if I'm not mistaken. We're about to get real knee deep into this, so make sure y'all buckle your seatbelts. Here's the story. The body of 14-year-old Nashana Riley, which is Nashawna, Nashana Riley, age 14, was turned over to the Jefferson Parish, I almost turned it into one word, Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office on Wednesday morning. Coroner Jerry Sinatovich said she had been critically injured in a brutal assault a week earlier that killed her mother, and her mother's name is Christina Riley, and it's spelled with a K, Kristina Riley. She was 32 years old. Her brother, by the name of Aiden Riley, Ayden, age 10, and her cousin, Durana Encalade. That's a difficult name to pronounce. It's D-E apostrophe R-I-R-Y-O-N-A. Encalade. E-N-C-A-L-A-D-E, age 9. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with these unique names, so I apologize to you guys, okay? Let's talk about the rest of this. A 5th victim who was bludgeoned, Christina Riley's 12-year-old daughter, Adriana Riley, remained in recovery at a hospital Wednesday, and somebody actually sent me an email and said that person passed away. So he's looking at, I think, 4 total counts. Now, local television station reported Nashana Riley's death had been pronounced Monday night, citing family members as the source of the information. So Savitanovich, why do people have these wild last names I can't pronounce? Savitanovich said that the girl had been declared brain dead Monday, but his office couldn't release information until after the girl had been removed from life support following an organ donation. Damn. Now, according to the sheriff's office, investigators believe Leonard, let me make sure and get his name again. Terrance L. Leonard. He's 33 years old. Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office deputies had quickly booked Terrance L. Leonard, right here, this individual on my screen, who is Christina Riley's 33-year-old boyfriend. That's her boyfriend. From my understanding, he's not the father of any of these kids. Does everybody already know where I'm getting ready to go with this? If you guys have watched this show long enough, I see we got some people that say they live in Terrytown. Do you guys know where I'm getting ready to go with this? Some of you guys should know. That's her boyfriend. The mother of those kids and relatives, that's her boyfriend. And they arrested him on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, which those charges are about to go up too. The latest death means that one of the attempted murders counts will be upgraded to first-degree murder. A local television station reported this information after the little girl had been removed from life support. Now, according to the sheriff's office, investigators believe Leonard killed the 4 children by bludgeoning them with a hammer while they slept in their beds at Christina Riley's apartment. I want you guys to understand what that actually means. Hashtag, where are any of the fathers in this story? Because you're not going to hear from them. The only one you're going to hear from is the girlfriend's father, which is going to be the grandfather of these kids. I want you, thank you. If you date thugs, you date death. Carla got it. My motto, my mantra that I created here, nobody created it before me. If you date thugs, you date death. And I say that because in more cases than none, when these women choose guys that are not these kids' father to put around these kids, those men don't seem to take care of those kids, love those kids, and treat those kids with the dignity and respect that a father would, more times than none. That's a dynamic that you look at here. Very rarely will you find somebody that will date a woman and take those kids on as their own. I'm just throwing that out there. All right? You have to really, really, really love or hate, which those 2 words can actually be synonymous with each other, a person, or just really be deeply disturbed to take a hammer and murder multiple people. I want you guys to understand how difficult of a task that is to even physically do, no matter the circumstances. To just hit a person, hit a person, hit a person, hit a person, hit a person. That person's dead. Move to the next person. Hit a person, 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 hit a person. That person's dead. Now you move to the next person. You guys understand how mentally effed up you have to be in order to do that? Not only to one person, but to multiple people. This happened at Christina Riley's apartment in the 900 block of West Monterey Court. So if you guys live out there in the Terrytown area, then maybe you know about where I'm talking about. All right. Now, the killing of 2 of them while leaving while leaving the other 2 injured badly, which a few of them ended up passing away. Leonard was in charge of taking care of the children while Riley spent the evening with her mother. And that's what I think the officer's name is Lapinto said. But I want you guys to catch this. She didn't leave the kids with the kid's father. She didn't leave the kids with the grandmother or the grandfather. For the life of me, I just don't understand what's so bad about the man that you procreated with that you couldn't let that man watch these kids while you had to go run your errands or do whatever it is that you have to do. Like, y'all 2 ought to be able to work that out. Me and my daughter's mom, we had it figured out. She let me know in advance what her schedule was going to be. And what did I do? I turned around and changed my work schedule, worked a completely different shift to make sure I got my 40 hours in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I kept my daughter Monday through Thursday. So that way she could go work. We weren't even together. And we were able to figure that out. Hopefully you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. While we got people watching the show live, if you would, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we're live. I want to say thank you to everybody that's already hit that thumbs up for me, okay? Because it really helps a lot. Now, he then fatally attacked Christina Riley when she made it home at about 2 a.m. That's what authorities said. Now, she's saying that she spent the evening with her mom. I'm assuming her mom can probably corroborate that. But most people usually know what's going on at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's usually club hours. I'm not even here to question that. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, Leonard had returned to the apartment. This is how crazy this dude is. Let me get this crazy dude's face back up on the screen so you guys can understand this. This dude returned to the apartment with his unsuspecting mother later that day, after he already killed everybody. The mother called 911 as Leonard pretended to discover the victims alongside his mom. That's according to authorities and a recording of the actual phone call. Do you know how demented that's like, damn, man. So he took his mother over there and played it like, what happened? Like, oh my God, all these people are dead, knowing that he was the one that actually did it. Sheriff's office deputies said Leonard admitted to the slayings and claimed to have been smoking crack cocaine. Let's blame it on crack. The sheriff's office hasn't discussed any other potential motive for the slayings, and Leonard has also been charged with obstruction of justice after he allegedly attempted to hastily clean up the blood from the scene. Wow, man. Leonard remains in jail with no bail set on the murder counts. He faces, if convicted, a mandatory life imprisonment sentence or even death if eventually convicted of first-degree murder. Now, he also has, this is why I call him a thug, why these women dating thugs, dating death and put them around your kids is a stupid, very, very stupid thing to do. The reason I say that is because he has a lengthy history of prior drug arrests and stints in jail. So it's impossible that she didn't know that he was a jailbird and didn't know that he was a criminal and didn't know that he was a thug. It's impossible. That's why I say to the ladies, you have to protect yourself and you have to think bigger than yourself. And if you're going to date thugs, then don't do it around your kids. Maybe don't have kids, or wait till your kids are grown and out of your house, then date your thugs. Put yourself in danger. Don't put your kids in danger. That's selfish. They say he has a long drug arrest, stints in jail, but nothing like the mass killing which authorities allege he carried out. Now, Nashana Riley had been a student at West Jefferson High School and formed part of a New Orleans Warriors dance team in 2015-2016, which you guys can see that from some of the pictures. Now, Warriors coach James Young said that she was well liked by her teammates and excellent at routines, quickly becoming a co-captain in her first year as the team danced in the Martin Luther King Day parade with the Carnival Cruise, KREWES, including Choctaw, Athena, and Little Rascals. She caught on real fast and she was fun to be around. Young said that the community is still rallying around the family and is trying to put together a Can Shake fundraiser among the dance team's members this weekend to benefit the family. And of course, people want to know, where's the GoFundMe, right? What's up, Bomb Cherry? And thank you very much. I know she lives out there in the Louisiana area, if I'm not mistaken. So she might be familiar with some of these areas that I'm talking about. So shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show. Let me show you guys this on the screen real quick. This is the only GoFundMe that I found. I don't know how accurate this GoFundMe is, but it looks like it was shut down after about $330. More than likely, that's because there's so many parties involved. They probably don't even know where to send this money to, how to set it up, or anything like that. So that's where the GoFundMe is. Let's go ahead and get the fair usage popping, and we can go ahead and show you guys these videos, okay? So give me just a moment. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Jefferson Parish Sheriff's deputies found 3 people dead, including 2 children, in what they're investigating as a homicide. 2 others were critically injured. It happened around 7 o'clock this morning in the 800 block of West Monterey Court. We have live team coverage with Jade Cunningham, who spoke with neighbors and family. But first, Danny Monteverdi brings us the latest information from the Sheriff's Office. Danny?
Well, good evening, Ton. We're waiting to get an update from Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lapinto here at the JPSO's main headquarters on the West Bank in just a little bit. But what we can tell you right now, it was a sad morning for one family after 3 people, as you said, including 2 children, were killed here on the West Bank. Now, we now know the identities of those people. According to family, one of them was 8-year-old Dariana Riley. Also killed was 10-year-old Aiden Riley, and 35-year-old Kristen Riley. Now, the JPSO was in and out of this home all morning in the 700 block of West Monterey Court in Terrytown. Relatives on the scene said they were just devastated and stunned to learn about these deaths. They say they had no idea anything like this would happen to their loved ones. The call came in at about 7 o'clock this morning. It was a call of the family needing medical assistance. That's what the sheriff's office says right now. And once inside, deputies found the 5 victims. As we said, Dariana, Aiden, and Christina, they were dead inside, unfortunately. 2 others are critical this evening at a hospital. Now, there's no information.
And I noticed somebody emailed me, and I think that 4th person is actually dead. Just to let you guys know. While we got about 211 people here or so, if you would, just make sure whenever y'all come in, just click the like, okay? And that'll help us out.
Yet on any possible suspect, JPSO Captain Jason Rivard, though, says the scene touched not only relatives, but first responders as well.
I mean, anytime you have a triple homicide, it's going to be something that's out of the ordinary, and it's not something that we're typically dealing with. So, I mean, it is, of course, it's shocking. You know, and with children being the victims, it always makes it worse.
Somebody asked if they have insurance. More than likely, they don't. But I can tell you this, just being familiar with New Orleans history and stuff like that, and maybe even Bomb Cherry or a couple other people that live out there in Terrytown can maybe tell you this. There used to be this man that would come around the hood called the insurance man, because the death rate and murder rate was so high in those areas. What they used to do was they used to pay a particular person in cash to so-called take out these life insurance policies on these kids. So even something like that might even be commonplace. I don't know if they still do that. I don't even know if that's even legal to do or not. But I just thought I'd throw that out there because I know people out there have definitely heard of that before.
And so, again, there are many questions in this case right now. We hope to get some of those answers when Sheriff Lopinto gives the update. Again, we're expecting that at 6 o'clock here at the Sheriff's Office. But for now, we're going to toss to my colleague Jade Cunningham, who spoke to some friends, families, and relatives and has what they have to say. Jade?
Thanks, Danny. Yes, and we are here at the scene, and I can tell you that authorities are still here pulling bags and bags of evidence from the scene. I can tell you that this has been a very tough day for much of the neighborhood. Many tell me that they are absolutely devastated by what happened just a few houses down. An emotional scene on the 900 block of Monterey Court as friends, neighbors, and family stood in silence.
I love them all. We did everything together.
The lives of 2 kids, including 8-year-old Dariana Riley and a woman, were taken inside a home there. Another child and woman inside were seriously hurt and taken to the hospital.
That's not good, man. Not good.
Through tears, grandfather Emmett Rhodes spoke of his family, visibly shaken, unsure as to what happened.
We was all joking and stuff last night, having fun, and they said they went home, and that was it. For this to happen, man, I just can't believe it. It's hurt me.
As deputies spent the day going through the house,
I think it's sad, like, to see children get killed.
People watched in shock, telling Eyewitness News this family's deaths just don't make sense.
They just was getting prepared and prepped to come hang with the grandfather today. I mean, here one minute, gone the next, you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you guys this. One thing that they may or may not tell you in this story before we wrap up is I can tell you guys this. They act like they didn't know that this was coming down the pipe. First and foremost, this dude is a thug. He's been in jail a bunch of times. He's on drugs and all kind of other stuff based on what was reported. They were actually fighting, to let you guys know what actually caused this ultimately. They were fighting. Let me see if I can get their names here again. Christina Riley and Terrance Leonard were actually fighting, and they had broke up, and she was trying to kick him out of the house. KF504, good to see you, bro. Said this is 2 miles away from you. Damn, wow. Real close. These two were fighting, and she was trying to kick him out of the house, and he refused to leave. But again, I'm telling you guys, it's one thing if a woman does this on her own. This is a whole nother problem and a whole nother dynamic, and why I believe that my brother Tommy is probably right that we're not making proper decisions based on what's good for our kids, because you're going to turn around and leave your kids in this man's possession knowing that you tried to break up with him and kick him out of your house. That's not smart. to leave your kids in a precarious, dangerous situation like that. It's selfish and it's stupid. I know people are probably going to get mad about what I said, but that's just real talk, man. Let's go ahead and keep going.
The kids are good kids. They go to school every day, come out here, play with all the neighborhood.
Willie Tyson and her grandchildren are close with several of the victims. She now wonders how she'll tell the little ones the news.
The little boy and my grandbaby was classmates. At one time we couldn't tell neither one of them from afar because both of them had dreadlocks, so we had to cut my grandbaby hair. So, yeah, I don't know how I'm explaining it to them.
And as the investigation into this case continues, people want to know who's responsible, hopeful that answer will be found.
It's heartbreaking. I mean,
well, we already know who's responsible. It's the goddamn boyfriend. But we got a couple more videos. These next few are going to be short, okay?
Good afternoon.
And then I'm going to read the support that came into the show. So if anybody supported the links, they're in the description box if you guys want to do that. If you want to support the show in a different way, then you always know that you can hit that thumbs up, okay?
I'm Liz Reyes. Thanks for joining us. We start with new developments today in a triple Terrytown murder. Jefferson Parish arrest records show that a man named Terrance Leonard was arrested yesterday and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Rob Masson has more from the murder scene in Terrytown.
And Liz, we just finished speaking with Idell Rhodes. She is the grandmother of Christine Riley, who was killed in this apartment yesterday, along with 2 of her grandchildren. She tells us that Terrance Leonard did turn himself in, and they say that he was the boyfriend she was attempting to break up with. Idell says that...
So you guys heard that. Let me rewind it so you can hear that I'm not making this up at all. That's not a story that I made up. Listen again.
Did turn himself in, and they say that he was the boyfriend she was attempting to break up with.
You guys heard that? Also in the story, let me go back. It said that Leonard was in charge of taking care of the children while Riley spent the evening with her mom. Why would you leave these kids with this man after you said you was going to break up with him? Why leave the kids? Man, why leave the kids there? Come on, ladies. I mean, tell me, am I wrong for saying what I'm saying? Am I being wrong? I'm a father. I'm speaking from a father's perspective. I'm very grown up in this thing, and I've got a daughter who's getting up there in age. Y'all gotta let me know if I'm saying something wrong or if this woman was wrong for putting her kids in this position. Listen to what this man said again.
And she tells us that Terrance Leonard did turn himself in, and they say that he was the boyfriend she was attempting to break up with. Idell says that she understands that Leonard turned himself into police yesterday and has admitted to attacking Riley and 4 children who were inside the apartment at the time. She says all 4 were her grandchildren. 2 are now deceased. 2 others are in critical condition at University Medical Center. And Jefferson Parish jail records show that Leonard was booked into jail yesterday and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder with no bond said. At this point, the grandparents say they still don't understand what happened.
She didn't want him no more. She told him that. She told him that she wanted him to leave.
Come on. No. Guys, that is the story. Why the police are acting like they don't know what happened. This is the victim's mother, or excuse me, grandmother. Listen to what Idell Rhodes said again. She said it out of her own mouth. I'm not making this up. Listen again. Please hit the thumbs up, okay? We just need a few more thumbs up if you guys don't mind. Listen to this again.
Want him no more. She told him that. She told him that she wanted him to leave.
Come on, man. You wanted him to leave, but you left your kids with him? What did you think a thug and a criminal and a jailbird was going to do? In one place that used to be in an area. I've looked up Terrytown. It's nearby New Orleans. I know this. In a place that's nearby a place that was known as the murder capital of the world at one point in time. Hello. Can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? What did you think a thug was going to do?
The grandparents say they still don't understand what happened.
She didn't want him no more. She told him that. She told him that she wanted him to leave.
She didn't want him no more. She told him to leave, but she left her kids with him. Then she showed back up. Ladies, I'm going to tell you the most dangerous thing that you can do is the most powerful and most dangerous. This is the innate power that and the innate gift that I always tell women before we wrap up. You have an innate gift. That is the power of life and death, and that is the power to affect a man emotionally. Women can't physically do a thing to a man, but what they can do is they can break a man down emotionally in a good way and a bad way. Hello, ladies, where y'all at? Chime in to let me know if I'm wrong. Where my fellas at? Do my fellas agree with what I got to say? Women can't physically overpower a man. They can emotionally and mentally and spiritually affect a man, which is how they get most of what they have from men. Men can literally be controlled emotionally by a woman. That is the gift and the curse that women have. It's a gift because you can get a man to run through a brick wall for you and give his life for you and not even think twice about it. Beautiful thing. Bad thing is if you turn that power and use it in the wrong way, that man will turn on you and act in an irrational, emotional, illogical way. One of the realest things that I've said to you guys in a long time. Listen to how she played with this man's emotions. Again, listen at this again.
She didn't want him no more. She told him that. She told him that she wanted him to leave. He just didn't want to leave. And I told her, tell me if I want me to do it. Mama would go and put him out.
Mama will... One woman is going to take control of another woman's situation and put him out of a grown, strong thug man out of her house? What? How does that even make any sense? Mama will come put him out. Well, yeah, I know you love your kid. I know, Idell. I know. But what you're saying is quite dumb. Quite dumb. That's why we need more fathers. And you notice we don't see no fathers and men out here. You just see thugs and boyfriends. No marriages.
I dropped my baby off Tuesday night around 1-something, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he was up in there waiting and killed my baby. That's not right. It's not right.
And it's not smart either to leave your kids around a dude that you just broke up with and you're going to kick him out of the only place that he probably has to live to?
And a makeshift memorial has popped up here on West Monterey Court near the murder scene today. People from all over the neighborhood have been coming by here, dropping off stuffed animals and balloons. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office still has a lot of holes to fill out in this.
Yeah, they do. Let's go ahead and move on to the next video. I only got a couple of these, so we're going to run through them really, really quick, okay?
In a story we broke this morning on our website, WWLTV.com, we have new information about the man arrested for a triple murder in Terrytown. A woman and 2 children were beaten to death, and 2 other children were critically injured. Duke Carter is joining us live with more on the man who is charged in this incident. Duke?
Hey, good morning. Well, we know the name of the man, and records show that it's 33-year-old Terrance Leonard. But before we go into more details with that, I do want to show what's happening here behind me. There's a memorial here at the home where the incident took place, where, as you just mentioned, Eric, 3 people died and 2 others were critically hurt. People have dropped off balloons and flowers, deeply upset about what happened here. And as you just mentioned, yes, we have learned more information about the man Jefferson Parish Sheriff deputies have in custody. So we want to show you you all his image now. Records show 33-year-old Terrance Leonard was booked on 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. He was also booked on obstruction of justice charges and an attachment for an outstanding warrant. Now, Emmett Rhodes, who identified himself as the children's grandfather, told us that Leonard was the slain woman's boyfriend. Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lopinto declined to identify Leonard, who was taken into custody, but said he did confess to the crime. Lopinto said evidence at the scene makes investigators believe the victims died from blunt force trauma. We spoke with the victim's mother, Miss Idell Rhodes. Here's what she said about this incident. Take a listen.
If this is the same one, then we'll move on to the next one.
You just gotta be a cold-hearted person, have no heart to kill children. Just a cold-hearted person. And I promise you, I put it on everything I love. They can document it. I'm seeking death penalty.
You're seeking the death penalty, but we're not seeking that this mother not put her children around thugs. Inevitably, if you date thugs, you date death. That's just the way it goes, right?
So the sheriff says the accused killer, Terrance Leonard, confessed to the crimes, and he was on crack cocaine when everything went down. Now, at that scene in Terrytown, a growing memorial, friends, family, even perfect strangers coming by to pay their respects. A lot of people trying to come to grips with the grief and now the anger. Idell Rhodes could barely control her emotions as she walked up to the tribute on Monterey Court in Terrytown. And she has no love lost for the man JPSO says is responsible for killing her loved ones, 33-year-old Terrance Leonard.
Garbage. My kids didn't like him.
Leonard is...
Oh. How is it that from these random interviews, we're finding out all of the stuff that she already knew, but she kept the kids there? She said the kids didn't like him, and she said he was garbage. Ladies, how do we explain that? How do we explain that? How do you explain staying with a man like that you already knew was a thug and you got your kids around him? How do you explain that?
Facing 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. JPSO says he confessed to the crimes.
The evidence that we have received from the confession of Terrance Leonard, but also the physical evidence that was on the scene as the children were all killed, most presumably in their sleep, while they laid in bed with a hammer.
So you heard that from Joseph Lopinto, or whatever his name is. So you guys know that's where I'm getting my information from when people like, you got your facts wrong. You heard it from the police. And y'all need to go argue with the police and stop arguing in my comment section. Stop emailing me bullcrap talking about my facts are wrong. Because what the police have is what they're going to take to court. What goes out in court is what's going to be documented as factual information.
Leonard, rot in hell. Rot in hell.
Wednesday morning.
I mean, powerful, strong words. I get it. I know she's upset, but you know, that doesn't do anything to help anybody though. Being upset doesn't help anybody. We got to keep our kids from being in these situations.
And the mother and grandmother of the 5 victims in the Terrytown tragedy lashes out at the man deputies arrested for 3 murders. She says her daughter was trying to break up with Terrance Leonard prior to the killings. Rob Masson has the story.
So, and I think Elizabeth, I think you're the one that sent me this story also, but it was a few people that sent me this. So I want to say thank you to everybody that sent me this story. We're getting ready to wrap up here in a minute, guys. Okay. So if you would do me a favor and hit that thumbs up so the last few people can check out this particular episode and hear this story and find out what happened. Okay.
Really appreciate everybody who does, that come out. I really appreciate it.
With a plush toy memorial popping up in front of her slain daughter's apartment, Idell Rhodes pays her first visit to the murder scene.
You just gotta be a cold-hearted person, have no heart to kill children. Just a cold-hearted person.
That's usually what thugs do. generally speaking. They're usually pretty cold-hearted. Am I lying? Thugs, killers, murderers, drug dealers are usually pretty cold-hearted people.
Rhodes says her daughter Christina and Rhodes' two grandchildren, 10-year-old Aiden and 9-year-old Dariana, were found dead inside the West Monterey Court apartment yesterday. She also says her two other granddaughters, ages 12 and 14, were rushed to the hospital.
I dropped my baby off Tuesday night around 1-something, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he was up in there waiting and killed my baby.
Now, most of that we've already heard. Let me go ahead and get to this last video, and then we're going to wrap up. This is the last one.
You might imagine this has been just a terrible shock to this very tightly knit community. I'm going to step out of the picture right now and get you an idea of what it looks like right now. This is 5 hours after this horrible crime. And as you can see, there are still quite a few deputies, police officers on the scene. We saw one coroner's van just pull up just a few moments ago. You have the Jefferson Parish crime lab, the mobile crime lab on scene. And as you might expect, so many friends and family have gathered here. During that press conference just a few moments ago, everybody was crowded in trying to get what information they could about what may have happened this morning. Here's what we do know at this point, and you probably heard it just a couple moments ago. We know now that at least a second of the people that were killed this morning, they were children. And so no suspect at this point, but everybody's working hard to get information. We talked to one of the grandfathers in the family this morning, Emmett Rhodes, just talking about how grief-stricken he is about what's happened this morning.
I knew who was in. I knew my grandkid was at home. 'Cause my wife dropped them off last night. So I knew they was in there. And my daughter and them had came home. And she had called her mom and told her that she was good. She was at home. And they were fine. And this morning, our neighbor come around and told us to come around here to come see what was going on. And we come around here, and this is what I found out. My baby, they was getting ready to take him to the hospital. We couldn't even go in there and see what was going on. Then my grandkids.
Wow, man, that's sad. Let me read this real quick from Amatala, and said, please, please, women, wait to have children once you have your fun and got married to a man that loves you. You can wait. I promise you can. I think that's a beautiful thing to say, and I think that's probably an excellent way to wrap up this story, to say this. First and foremost, so everybody understands what happened in this story, it has been admitted by the grandmother that this dude was being broken up with by her daughter, which was Christina Riley, the mother, the one that was in charge of this situation. She was trying to put him out, and apparently he must have freaked out and got upset and took it out on the kids, waited for her to come home after hanging out with her mom, after she left the kids there with him, and then he took it out on her, and then he came with his mother and acted like he just walked into this thing, and he was just so surprised that, like, what happened, and eventually ended up admitting to the police that he was the one that did it. That's alleged until we get the actual confirmed information about this story. But for now, we're just going to go with what the police and everybody else has said about this so far. It seems to be a legit motive. My personal opinion, first and foremost, to the ladies again, I'm going to reiterate before we wrap up. If you're going to date your thugs and you want to date death, don't do it around your kids. Don't have the kids. And if you have kids, then you shouldn't be dating thugs, period. They're not good for the kids. And if you're going to be selfish like that, then you shouldn't have the kids around them ever. Like, period. It's a bad situation to be in. And, I'm definitely disheartened by this story to know that you had this many loss of lives all in one bundle. I mean, it's really sad. I mean, these kids could have grown up to be anything. They could have done anything. And I just hate to see this happen. But it's a way that we can prevent these things from happening. That is to see something, say something. And they continue to allow this man to stay there in this situation, and it ended up coming back to haunt them. If you date thugs, you date death. This is another clear example of that. You have to be held accountable. Please don't let your children be victims. All right? That's all I have to say. This is your boy, DJ Just Jay, Just Dimes ENT. Thank you guys so much for sharing this story with me. We're going to wrap up right there.